Well, hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, Big Favorite. It's another episode of Inside the Trenches podcast, live right here on ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM. And y'all can check us out every Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to be taking you home, baby. Drive time taking you into y'all's evenings. So we will be as hype as possible. I'm hype right now. Like, legit, last night was litty. We had an excellent time at our remote over at UPT Sports Social, 3218 Magazine Street, right here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Boy, it was a time. It was the first live remote on air, so obviously everybody was excited about that. But the food was good, good vibes. Shouts out to everybody who came out and spent time with us, lots of family and friends. People walking up. And one was like, man, is this a sports show going on? It just came on in. So y'all, come join us. We got specials. You can go wing specials. You can get you something to drink. It's Monday night. I know we got the Teachers Appreciation thing going on every Monday there. So y'all make y'all way on down to Magazine Street. That's UPT Sports Social, 3218 Magazine Street. And that is the sponsor of this segment too, by the way. Shouts out to UPT for having us there. The city just on fire right now. The Pelicans are rolling. The Saints are making some really good moves in free agency. Everything is looking promising. Well, we're excited about spring ball. So we've been talking a lot about that. But I want to notate what the Pelicans are doing right now in the NBA's West. And if you look at this team from a whole, the bench looks good. The starters look good. The rotation, B.I. is out, and you don't really see the drop. So I'll be joined by my good buddy Marrero. Hold on one second. So the Pels are rolling right now, and I'll be joined by my boy Mario Jerez. He's with ESPN New Orleans. He goes to all the Pelicans game. He does the Pelicans Spanish radio, so he's going to join me here momentarily. So Terry, just let me know when Mario is ready on the line. But just to kind of just look at the Pels as they're going into Western play, I think if you look at the Pels from a defensive standpoint, the way that Herb Jones is playing right now has been amazing. We got Mario on the line. Mario, what's happening, baby?
Big Fave. Hello, somebody.
Hello, somebody. Man, Mario, I was just sitting here talking about the way Herb Jones has been playing for the Pelicans. From a defensive standpoint, he makes a huge argument for being one of the top guys in the NBA in terms of defense, huh?
Yeah, you heard Zion in the post-game press conference the other day. He asked the press, have you heard? And they were like, heard about what? And he was like, have you heard that Herb is the word? Because Herb is the word right now. And you broke it down really well right there, Big Fave. One of the better perimeter defenders in the league. And he's really been doing it for 3 years. Like, this is nothing new for Pelicans fans. But now with the Pelicans climbing the standings, hopefully going to be in the playoffs this season, he's starting to get that recognition around the league. And players have praised him. Paul George, who he kind of put the clamps on the other night when the Pelicans beat the Clippers, has been really vocal in his praise about Herb Jones. And it's nice to see him get some recognition from outside of New Orleans because he's been doing it for a while. And it's nice that he's starting to get his roses a little bit. The Pelicans definitely need some more of that this week.
They do. Joining me right now is my homie Mario Jerez. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on Spanish radio tonight with the Pels game, right? You do the Spanish radio for Pelicans radio?
Yes, sir. 105.7 in New Orleans, Radio Tropical. That's the same station that airs all the Saints games. We're doing the rest of the home games this season, including tonight. So shout out to the Pelicans for making an effort to do that, and definitely very excited to be on the call tonight.
Let's jump right into the Pels game for tonight. They're going against a red-hot OKC Thunder. They're 46-21 right now. Pels are 44-27 as we get to the end of this regular season. What are some things we should look for in tonight's matchup against OKC?
Man, it should be a good one. Oklahoma City, a really young team that's, I think, maybe ahead of schedule, being second in the Western Conference. And I think it's a matchup where the Pelicans can really try to utilize Jonas Valanciunas. He usually puts up good numbers against the Thunder. And Chet Holmgren has been really good as a rookie. Technically not a rookie, but the NBA classifies him as that for whatever reason. But putting up 17 points, 8 rebounds, almost 3 assists per game this year. But I think Jonas can kind of can kind of make it a welcome to the NBA moment for young Chet Holmgren tonight. And Jonas has been kind of off recently, honestly. Like Larry Nance has been starting second halves. You've seen Jonas's minutes going down a little bit, but I think tonight could be a good opportunity for him to get on track. Like the Thunder have really good wing players. You know, you're going to be tested with Shai Gilgeous and with Jalen Williams, who's a really underrated player. But where I think the Pelicans have the advantage tonight is down low. So I'm looking for Jonas Valanciunas to get some touches tonight, hopefully have a good game to get himself back on track. To me, that's where the Pelicans can really exploit OKC, but it should be a great game.
When you look at the absence of Brandon Ingram, we don't know exactly how long he's going to be out. Of course, we would love to have him tonight. With him being gone, Trey Murphy III seems like he's really stepping in and being that dominant shooting guard that they usually would see with B.I. So, when those two guys are rolling, they're almost next to none in the West.
Yeah, 100%. And Trey, as a starter, to your point, has been really good. The Pelicans this season are actually, if my math is correct, are 14-3 with Trey Murphy in the starting lineup. So it could be a big opportunity for him, especially in front of the home fans. And if you've watched Trey Murphy the last 3 years, he seems to kind of elevate his game as the season goes on. Like in March, he starts to heat up a little bit, and then in April, you see him really start to catch fire. So hopefully history repeats itself a little bit when it comes to Trey. And like you said, he can step up in BI's absence. And I think a lot of people forget just how good CJ McCollum is when he wants to be. Like, he's done a really good job, I think, kind of adjusting his game this season, playing off the ball, playing off of Zion, playing off of BI, and almost all of his shot attempts have been three-pointers. But he can still the ball, man. He's still a really good shot creator. He's still really good off the dribble. And Trey, I think, will elevate his game too. But I look for C.J. McCollum to run the offense a little bit more and show people that he can still score the ball a little bit. So Trey's going to have to step up. C.J.'s going to have to step up. Bench guys are going to get more minutes. Ultimately, I think you need Brandon Ingram back. Like, that's going to make the difference to me between being sent home in the first round and maybe winning a series. But I think in the next couple of weeks, just until you get to the playoffs, when hopefully he does return, this team has more than enough to keep its head above water. With Trey, with CJ, with the second line, the bench guys playing really well. I think the injury to BI is significant. Like, it's really inconvenient and something you don't want to happen. But for these next 12 games, although you're playing some quality competition, I think the Pelicans have enough to get by. We'll see if they can do that starting tonight.
If you're just joining us on Inside the Trenches podcast, I'm joined right now by my man, Mario Harraz. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on Instagram at Harraz3. Mario is right now in the Smoothie King Center, the blender, baby. What's the atmosphere around there right now, man? It's a little less than an hour before tip-off. Man, how the city feeling right now? I know it's live in that thing. Hello.
Yeah, hello, exactly. No, it's lively, man. Like, it's, March 26th, and the Pelicans are playing meaningful basketball games for playoff positioning. Like, people are excited, and I'm sure y'all covering the Saints on y'all show. A lot of not happy news when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. So a lot of people in the city starting to accept the Pelicans into their heart, and it's really good timing. You know, not only do you have this homestand, not only is the team climbing up the standings, right now they're fourth place, so they would host or they would have home court in the playoff series, which would be awesome. But you're seeing some premier teams coming to the Smoothie King Center. I mean, tonight you have Shai Gilgeous coming in. Thursday, you play the Bucks. Giannis will be in town. Jason Tatum and the Celtics on Saturday. Then next week, you have the Suns and the Magic coming in. So you're talking about Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Paolo Banchero. Like, these are international superstars coming to New Orleans. And it's a great opportunity for the Pelicans to gain some ground in the standings for sure, but to also excite the home crowd ahead of hopefully a playoff series. So the atmosphere is good. People still trickling in here. We still got a little bit of time before tip-off. But you definitely feel the buzz. You definitely feel the energy in the city and in the arena. And it feels, I've talked about this on my podcast a little bit, it feels like every time the Pelicans have heated up this season and they've had like a big opportunity ahead of them, like a big name team coming to New Orleans, they've kind of fell on their face. Because they got blown out by the Suns earlier this year. They beat the Clippers recently, but a Friday night game a couple weeks ago, they were on a winning streak. The Clippers came in here and kicked their butts. Like, they haven't really risen to the occasion. But we're later in the season. We're in late March. Hopefully the team is able to show a little bit of growth. And they'll need to, because they got some good teams coming to New Orleans this week.
Mario, stick around. We'll get more from the Pels here. We're live on ESPN New Orleans. Y'all don't go anywhere. Hello.
West Bank, man, I grew up by that villa.
You either ball or you basic or racist. Big fade, man, I made it in them trenches. It was either ball or A-school, go hard or break. Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Fade Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right. When you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon Big Fade Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders. 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Fade Favorite. Watch out there now. Well, hello, it's Marlon Big Fade Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Marrero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Marrero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Yeah, baby, we back here. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. I'm your host, Marlon Big Fade Favorite. Y'all listening to ESPN New Orleans. Joining me right now is my good friend Mario Harraz. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on Instagram, mharraz3. Mario's right now at the Pelicans in the blender, watching the Pelicans. Well, getting ready to watch the Pelicans take on OKC. Mario, you told us about the atmosphere. We spoke about B.I. I want to know about your thoughts on the emergence of Zion through the season. Like, I love the fact that not only did he get in shape, shut up a lot of the naysayers, but he is just performing at a high level, Mario.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, man. I told you the Spanish broadcast, we've only do like the last 12 games of the season the last 2 years. So last year I didn't get to see Zion. So just broadcasting games with Zion in them for the Spanish speakers in the city is really cool because you're talking about one of the premier talents in the NBA. And especially the last 10 games, he's been putting up 25.7 points per, 7.8 rebounds per game, and just under 4 assists. You really see him starting to come into his own, not just as a scorer, but a playmaker as well. And he improved a lot on defense. I think some of that is honestly just want to. Maybe some of it is conditioning. but you see him get back on defense a lot more consistently. You're seeing him use that athleticism to get rebounds and start fast breaks, and it's been really fun to watch. But honestly, Big Fave, like if you've seen Zion play, you know he can ball. The important thing for him was just the important thing for him was just staying on the court this season. And his first 3 years, Zion played in 114 games. This year, he's already played 60. So you see the improvement there. And I think the Pelicans medical staff deserves some credit. Fair or unfair, we don't know what's really going on behind closed doors. But it was the same thing for his first 4 years here. He was not able to stay on the court. This year, whatever changes they've made has really worked. And I think the Pelicans medical staff deserves a lot more credit. If you got a minute, I talked about a stat on my podcast and talked about Zion's minutes per game because they're really telling. And if you watch Pelicans games, there are times where Zion will be heating up. He'll score like 8 points in a row, 10 points in a row, and Willie will pull him. And I'll be like, what the hell? This is a terrible time to take him out the game. But I think the reduction in minutes has led to Zion actually being able to stay on the court. And his minutes per game total is not high at all. He's at 30.1 minutes per game. CJ McCollum, his teammate, is 32 years old. He's at 31.5 minutes per game. James Harden is 34 years old. He's at 34.7 minutes per game, almost 4 minutes per game more than Zion. LeBron James, who is 39 years old, plays a full 5 minutes per game more than Zion does. 35.2 minutes per game for LeBron, 30.1 minutes per game for Zion. And that's frustrating in the regular season. I would even say the Pelicans maybe lost a few games because of that. But now that you get into the nitty-gritty, now that the Pelicans are going to be hopefully in the playoffs, I think you'll see his minutes per game start to go up. And like I said, maybe frustrating during the flow of games, but I think that was a plan put into place by the team and by the medical staff, and it's worked out beautifully. He's still putting up really good numbers despite not playing as many minutes. And more importantly, he's actually been able to stay on the court this season. So I think that's been the key for Zion Williamson.
Mario, and how could they check out your podcast? I know you do a Pelicans podcast as well.
Yeah, it's rather new. I switched jobs recently, as you know, no longer with Guarantee Media. It's called Pel's Kitchen. You could find it like Hell's Kitchen, but Pel's Kitchen. Shout out Gordon Ramsay. You can find it wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. You could also follow me on Twitter at Mario_E_Jerez, and I tweet out all the episodes there. So check it out.
And the Pels are about to take on OKC, so y'all can check that out on NBA TV. Or if you guys are in the city, man, go to the Pels game. You can listen to it on Spanish radio with Mario. Mario, I want to go around the league with you, particularly the NBA Western standings. This is just so new to us because we're so used to seeing the Pels down. You mentioned earlier that they're fourth. You have the three teams that's in front of them, the Timberwolves, Thunder, and Nuggets. Out of those three teams, who gives the Pels the most? And I mean, I'm mentioning that we're about to watch the Thunder game here in a second, but who gives the Pels the biggest challenge in the West?
Oh, for sure the Nuggets. Whether it's a first-round series or they match up later, I think Denver is the class of the Western Conference right now. Obviously, being the defending champs, if Jokic and Murray are healthy, that's the best duo in the NBA right now on March 26, 2024. The Clippers, I think, would be tricky. If the season ended today, that would be the first-round series. And I think the Pelicans, top to bottom, have more depth. But, the star power, you cannot deny with Paul George and with Kawhi and with Harden. And Ty Lue is a championship coach with championship pedigree. So I think I would be a little bit wary about a matchup with the Nuggets or with the Clippers. But honestly, and maybe this is a little bit of homerism, big fave, but I think the Pelicans have a pretty good chance against any other team. I mean, Minnesota playing without Karl Anthony Towns right now and probably would in a first-round series. The Pelicans swept the Kings this year 4-0. Dallas is tricky just because of the star power. Luka, Kyrie can take any game over at any time. But I still think the Pelicans better top to bottom, and I think they have the coaching advantage there too. And then the Lakers and the Warriors, same principle, star power, but don't really like the coaching situation for either of those teams, honestly, right now. Especially the Warriors, at the end of their dynasty, losing all they have recently. But I think the Pelicans, sans the Nuggets and the Clippers, who I would feel a little uneasy about playing, I think would have a pretty good chance. I think any other series would be really entertaining, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans came out on top.
You mentioned the Warriors, and I was going around the NBA. I was going to come back to this one. Adam Jaworski dropped a a bomb on yesterday, basically saying that Draymond Green and Steve Curry, Coach Curry, was separated at practice as they got into a little altercation involving Green allegedly choking Coach Kerr. Man, your thoughts on Draymond, man? Is he trying to come play DN for the NFL? Like, what is he really needs to go to the football field.
Man, Draymond is absolutely tripping, dude. And I feel bad because, like, part of me likes Draymond. Like, his game, obviously very conducive to what they did over there. He's a big part of the dynasty. Any Warriors fan will tell you that. And I also like that he's like the classic WWE-style villain. Like, I think it's good for the NBA to have somebody like that. Like, if I'm at a game as a fan, I would enjoy the hell out of booing Draymond Green. Mm-hmm. But he just goes too far sometimes, and it costs his team, man. Like, y'all saw the altercation with Kevin Durant. That ran him out of town. Jordan Poole was a rising young talent who was an instrumental part of them winning a championship a couple years ago, and Draymond gets insecure, punches him in the face. Steph Curry went to bat for this dude so much,
right.
Even earlier this season when people were saying he shouldn't be allowed to play for the rest of the year. Like, the reports where Steph was always reaching out, always checking in on him, always sticking up for him in the media, obviously. So for him to go after Steph is just unreal to me. And the Warriors are 10th place in the conference right now, as you mentioned, only a half game ahead of Houston. If the Rockets are able to pass them up, they'll be out the playoffs altogether. And Draymond just looks like a clown, man. Like I'm sorry. I'm with the athlete movement. Everybody's starting podcasts and getting a lot of traction on it, but he's doing more talking than playing good basketball right now.
Right.
And I know fans around the league are tired of it, but Warriors fans should be tired of it. Steve Kerr should be tired of it. Like, I'm very surprised he's still doing this and not kind of implementing the help he's gotten to try to improve himself. It's just a total detriment to the Warriors, and he's not helping them win games anymore. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do about that situation over there. But you're right. Maybe he should just go play football, hit up his old Michigan State people.
It is puzzling, the dynamic of their relationship, because Coach Steve Kerr, over the years, he's always been like a cool guy. Even being Jordan's teammate, as we remember, he's always been that guy. So that dynamic really, like, you feel comfortable enough to choke your coach. And then it's just like he's always picking on somebody smaller than him. You don't really hear him picking fights with, like, the bigger NBA players. So I just always thought, man, if you want to do that type of physical, if you want to hit like that, come play football. That's all I say. And Mario, I just couldn't agree with you more about the way the Warriors organization is now trying to find a way to get back to the middle of the pack of the West. I mean, the improvements around, you talk about the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the defending NBA champions, and this Pelicans team who's red hot that I think could really surprise a lot of folks in the NBA. So, man, Mario, get ready. You're getting ready for the game. Keep us posted. Looking forward to getting your feedback from the area. I wish I could join you, man, but we're recording the show, so we needed this update. Hello, somebody.
All good, brother. Appreciate you having me on, Big Fave. Congrats on the show, man. Very well deserved. We've been friends for a while, like you said. And like I said on Twitter, man, you've always been a really good communicator, and you've always been bringing the positive energy. You're basically like a walking ball of good vibes. So very excited for the future of your show, man. Really enjoyed coming on today.
Man, it's greatly appreciated, brother. We're gonna have ourselves a good time in our new home here at ESPN New Orleans. Y'all make sure y'all follow him at Mario_E_Horaz. Mario, have fun. Enjoy the game. Go Pels, baby. Hello, Pels. I might have to come. I did say that. I'm going to have to come perform one of the halftime shows with Pels, man. I know they've been playing that Hello Somebody. I got to go do my thing there, man. So he's Mario. Y'all make sure y'all listen to him on ESPN New Orleans and the Spanish radio. And I will be back here in a second. ESPN New Orleans. Watch out there now.
Now I play the game Madden. See the game like Madden. Commentate like Madden. Living life fantastic.
Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Big Fave Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right. When you take your career to the next level, play college, and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Well, hello, it's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Marrero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Marrero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. I'm your host, Marlon Big Favorite. And I got a guest in here this evening with me. My co-host, you usually see him on Mondays or hear him from Mondays and Fridays, but he joining me on this Tuesday because we had such a good time last night at UPT Sports Social at our open remote.
Great time.
I'm here with my man CL Nola, and you're listening to us now on ESPN New Orleans, and that's every Monday and Friday. I got to say that all week this week just to remind people. Every Monday through Friday, we on 6 to 8, and we are happy to talk to you guys every day. March Madness, the highlights. The Lady Tigers getting ready to play this Saturday. The brackets are breaking up. South Carolina still South Carolina. They dominated North Carolina. Indiana's hanging in there. They beat Oklahoma. They were 5th, beating them. And now they continue on. Last night we were watching a few of the games, Creighton versus UCLA. The first quarter was pretty tight, right. And then UCLA started to pull away from them. CL, man, we were at the sports bar last night at UPT enjoying the games. Which female game you were watching last night?
Well, we were blessed to have a number of screens up and running around us, and I got a hold of that UCLA game, and it was, like you said, in the beginning it was more competitive, but at the end looked like the ladies of the Bruins, they pushed through. So I enjoyed it, only because, of course, we know they're the next opponent for the Lady Tigers on Saturday. So I think we all had waited eyes to see what would happen in that game.
Yeah, we had eyeballs on that one. The matchup last night it's competitive. We talked about how competitive women basketball has been, and it's been a blast watching them. So we look forward to them to take on LSU. The number 2 seed UCLA, LSU's third in this thing. Is a 12 o'clock game this Saturday. Iowa beat West Virginia 64-54. Now they play Colorado, prime them.
You already
prime
know.
daughter, priming up. He just dominate the sports with
It's
Prime,
a family
man.
affair. It's a family affair.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So I am excited to see that matchup as well, or at least try to catch most of this March Madness as we can on the women's side. But I want to focus in on this LSU-UCLA game. It's going to be televised, a nice piece of tournament. ESPN announced it late last night that the game's going down. This will be the first of the two regional semifinals on Saturday, the Albany 2 regional in New York. The other semifinals between, as we mentioned, 31-4 Iowa and Colorado 24-9 follows up at 2:30. NCAA champion, reigning champion LSU enters this game with a lot of confidence.
Yes.
They're healthy.
Yes.
They have some star power. But I do think everything starts with the catalyst of this basketball team, and that's Angel Reese. In her matchup, in the last 2 games, she's had well over, I think, 30 rebounds or knocking on 30 rebounds, 19 in their last matchup against Middle Tennessee. When you think of her impact, the SEC champion, the SEC Player of the Year for women's basketball, how do you see her play out in this NCAA game?
Well, the one thing we know about Miss Reese is that she dominates down low. She's more of a factor down low than probably anywhere else on the court, and she's constantly showing that not only throughout the season but also inside the tournament. So with that being said, I can only see her moving forward, continuing to do that, because even looking forward to Saturday's game, I'm not sure if UCLA has a down low presence to deal with her and keep her off the board. So I think we're all chomping at the bit to see Saturday's game.
I am too, and I like how Flaugier is playing right now as well, because not only does she have a presence on defense, being able to create turnovers, get steals, but she's a decent ball handler. And looking back at that series last year when they took on Iowa, finishing it up, winning it all, I saw the freshman mature throughout that tournament, and now coming back, she's putting herself in the Lady Tigers in a position to be successful. If y'all just tuning in, it's me and my homie CL Nolis, ESPN New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
This segment is actually brought to you guys by Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. We represent y'all. Make sure y'all make y'all way there. They're open 7 days a week. On weekends, they're open till 11. They're open till 10 throughout the week.
Good time.
Good time, good vibes, good food. We'll be back out there, weather permits, because we've been missing the last 3 remotes because of the weather, and we miss being out there, so we look forward to that. We're talking Lady Tigers, March Madness action. Number 3, LSU Tigers going to the Sweet 16 to take on the UCLA Bruins. I did say NCLA. I was just all over. I think I was thinking about NLE Chopper's new song with Flaugier, and it kind of got mixed up.
Okay.
CL, man, I'm excited about this. Anisha Moore. Anicia, I think I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Moreau. She has been a great addition, along with Haley Van Lynn, has been a great addition to this Tigers team. When you look at those 2 ladies and how you look at the way that they're able to not only attack the basket, but shoot from the perimeter.
You know, sitting back watching the game, you know, the young lady Haley is really surprising on just obviously her being new to the team, and then being able to come in and handle the ball and distribute the ball. And now, as of late, you can't leave her wide open anymore. So that's, I think, you know, and obviously teams progress throughout the years, but knowing that this team is somewhat of a free agent team, we haven't seen all the ladies' skills, because I think they were just originally just learning how to play with each other, and now they're in the tournament. I think everything is just flowing. Yeah,
Anicia and Angel are both finalists for the WBCA All-American team, and it's definitely showing. And you look at Haley being able to run that point the way she run it and distribute the ball properly. We were fortunate enough to get last tier pullback She had a concussion a few games back. She's healthy in here. Coming off of the bench, she's huge. She's being able to be a huge asset in regards to distributing the ball, and if you need her to hit a hot three, she will hit it. So I think if you look across the roster, it's going to be important to see how well how well she continues to perform in the tournament. And here's another thing too, CL. The Tigers had gotten hit with a lot of distractions with Coach Mulkey, replying to Washington Post writers. A lot of this stuff stemming from her time at Baylor. I know they were asking a lot of questions about Brittany Griner.
Right.
But in the same token, they're trying to, like she said, bring a story in to try to distract them, basically.
It's a total distract job, because if you go back and research what previously happened, it was about a conversation back in 2020, and then since then, the journalists have tried to find people to have negative things to say about Coach. You know, obviously, Washington Post has just recently fired 240 people. So I'm thinking that they need some headlines, to kind of spark whatever situation they have going. And what better than to get at a champion? And, maybe he's a fan of South Carolina. Yeah, maybe he's a fan of Iowa. We don't really know. But the one thing we do know in journalism, there is a sense of bias.
Yeah.
That's the one thing they saw.
Subjectively.
So, we have to look at it with two sets of eyes. At the end of the day, we want the Lady Tigers and Coach Mulkey to stay focused on the task at hand, and we'll just let Washington say whatever Washington wants to say.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I commend her for sticking up for her players.
Right.
Being able to, if you want to attack anybody, attack me. And if you want to keep doing this, and you want to try to publish a story, I'm going to sue you.
Right.
Hello, somebody.
Right.
So I do appreciate coaching like that, because what really matters is keeping the outside chatter outside.
Right. Keeping the noise outside.
Keeping the noise outside. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. We're here on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Pel's about to take on OKC. We won't be able to get y'all too much updates because we're in the middle of the recording, but tomorrow we will definitely do a big recap on this game. We want to thank our segment sponsor again, Small Sliders, baby. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Always representing, man, a huge supporter of the show. Y'all don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk a little bit of college football. We mentioned this yesterday about Prime making the comment he made about recruiting, but I really want to get in depth about it. I want to be able to really give y'all my perspective. I know a lot of parents have kids that are going to college and need to know, so y'all don't go anywhere. It's Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans. Hello. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student-athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college, and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Are you looking for your dream home? Well, if that's the case, you need to contact Joe Picolo at Godwyn Realty, right here in New Orleans. Joe can put you in your dream home right away. Joe Picolo and the folks over at Godwyn Realty put you in the house that you need. Even if you're looking to invest in some property, they'll do an excellent job with that as well. Contact Joe today at 504-251-8341. Again, that phone number is 504-251-8341. And also contact Joel at joel.godwynrealty.com. No need to dream anymore. Godwyn Realty will put you in the dream house of your reality. Hello, somebody.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app weekdays, 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
Commodity, cause playing on the D-line.
Welcome back. It's your host, Marlon Big Favorite, and you're listening to Inside the Trenches podcast on ESPN New Orleans. And remember, y'all can listen every week, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8. I'm here with my man, CL Nola. And this segment is brought to you guys by Marrero Motors, 1512 North Causeway Boulevard in Metairie, Louisiana. Check this out.
Oh, man.
Y'all go over there today. Tell Alberto, that's the man, he running the whole show over there. Say,
yeah.
Big Fave said you could get me in a whip today, and he will be up to the challenge. Nice used cars you could drive off today. Remember, visit MonteroMotors.com and look at some of their inventory. Get you a nice little ride. I tell you one person who's going to ride with the way he processes things in recruiting, and that's Prime Time. Deion Sanders, baby. We talked about Prime last night on the show, and I thought we needed to bring him on over to this deal right here, CL. Prime is in prime time form right now with the way he's approaching this whole thing. CL, since he's gotten to Colorado, the revenue has went up for the organization.
For sure.
And he's just good for the sport.
Well, the state of Colorado has let the numbers come out. The University of Colorado has released the numbers that they've created just so much buzz and so much marketing and so much product placement that, you know, obviously the influx of students, the application of students has risen because of Coach Prime, and obviously sellout season tickets, you know, all the normal things that you would think comes with Coach Prime. It's just a wave that can't be stopped.
It's a huge deal for college football because he's very transparent.
Right.
In what he does and what he says, how he approaches the game from that perspective. I think that when you look at how he has revolutionized college football, starting with the HBCU schools, going to Jackson State, helping to bring more attention to HBCUs.
Definitely.
And then when you look at it from the perspective of how he's looking at recruiting. So he had a little controversy, and the thing about him, he's going to face it head on.
Right.
A couple reporters were asking Deion, why you don't do house visits anymore? Like, that's something that needs to happen. So I want to cue this up. I want y'all to listen to what Deion said, and then we're going to comment on it.
Just say I'm going to Florida and I'm visiting IMG. You don't think those coaches going to be a little upset if I don't come by the school down the street? Now the coach is mad, so he's not going to let the kid come. I really, truly, in all my heart, believe that parents don't want me at their house. They want to come see my house. They want to see how I live, how I get down. And we target mostly guys that's in the portal. He wants to know, okay, how you going to use me? How can you help me get to the league? And what am I going to get paid? Show them Boulder. I want them to see that because guess what? That's where the kid is coming. And I can't do the things other coaches can do. You know why? I'm Coach Prime.
Whether you agree or you disagree with what Prime says, let us know. Y'all can hit us up on Inside the Trenches podcast. Y'all can call the station anytime y'all want to here at ESPN New Orleans, 800-998-1003. I think when you look at what Prime is saying, I mentioned the word transparent. He's being transparent, honest, and open about the process. And if you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. And what it says is basically the traditional way of recruiting has passed us.
It has.
He didn't mention that in that clip there, but Prime went on and said that CL, he really just recruits through the transfer portal.
Right. Well, if you're familiar with the story, that's how he got the University of Colorado to predominance right now, because of the transfer portal. The young men that were there with the 1-11 record when the previous year, they all transferred out, and obviously Prime had guys that transferred in, not only just his son and not only just Travis Hunter, but a litany of players that he wanted to recruit, because this is what college football has become. It has become the National Football League. It has become free agency. And who necessarily has the bigger bag has more options of players that you could bring in with the NIL deal. So I think it's controversial to people because it's not the norm.
Correct.
I think it's controversial to people because it's something new. I think it's controversial to people because the honesty of Prime, there's nothing else that you can say after he tells you the truth. And I think Prime has always known how to work the media, how to communicate with the media since day one. And once again, he's shown you that he understands fully what he's trying to accomplish.
Correct.
And he doesn't mind if you don't see it or you don't understand it yourself.
Well, what he also said was, are the house visits necessary for already established collegiate players? Right. If you're recruiting through the portal, those guys that went through that already, most of them that you really want to have, some coaches come out of the house and just sit down in it. He said it costs the university money. You have to fly them into those
$200,000
easily.
They were concerned about the $200,000 that he did not use in the budget, and he let them know that I'm saving the university money because I don't need to go sit in these people's home and talk to them. They want to come to my home. They want to see my digs in Colorado.
What this means for high school recruits, right? That's a big thing too. Like looking at when the normal process was in enrolling, you had high school players that would have the coaches come by their houses. They'll visit the schools as well. Something else Prime mentioned, like you think those coaches, if I come down there, they're gonna feel some type of way about where I'm at in terms of why you didn't come holler at us over here.
Right.
You know what? I'm not gonna let little Billy come there. Just throwing that out there.
It's a rabbit hole for sure.
But they want to come to Colorado to see, because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to be at anyway. You're going to be at the school, so it does make more sense to book you a visit out there to see if that's where you want to go.
And Prime also got personal in the situation because he didn't come from a lavish lifestyle. He was somewhat embarrassed for a coach to see his living conditions. So he understands it from the ground level of it.
Correct.
So once again, he's saving the university money. He's giving you a straight up assessment of what he's doing, what he's trying to accomplish, and he's doing the one thing that many coaches probably don't do, is be honest to the parents and the players.
Because they worry about a team. They worry about a player saying, I don't want to visit or join your team because you're not basically feeding me BS.
Right.
That's what it really all boils down to. If y'all are just tuning in and just hopping in your car, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders, Coach Prime, explaining why he doesn't do house visits. And it really further explains or gives us an opportunity to explain how this process has changed so much. Going through it personally, I have everybody know my oldest son that knows me, and my oldest son is one of the top punters in the country. For specialists, it's a bit different, CL, because you go through these different Coles kicking camps and the different Chris Sellers kicking camps. You have to go to these kicking camps. So it's a different process for them as well. But when you look at other positions like quarterback, running back, especially linemen, it's important that these guys, the younger kids, and it's hard because they're young and they don't really fully understand the process, is to open it, to look at this process with an open mind. Because it's not, and really for the parents, it's really for them to know, because parents, they know the real, they remember, well, such and such, Billy didn't get recruited. Why they ain't coming holler at him? Why they only talking to? Because it's totally different. You have the transfer portal. You have the awakening of the NIL, name, image, and likeness. So that makes it, now these college football teams, CL, can build their rosters like they're building an NFL roster.
Exactly. And like he said, it's more important for the parents to understand this new era of college football. It's not the old days anymore. NIL deals are running college football right now. And if you ever notice, the top guys with the NIL deals are the guys that's getting the commercials, the guys that's making the millions of dollars in college football before they even reach the NFL. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, this has become a business way beyond the current understanding of high school college football. So with that being said, I think the parents need to invest some time into learning the finance part of it as well as the agent part of it, because pretty much it has started in high school.
And here's another thing that they really need to, and I want y'all to hear this loud and clear. Division II football is the new Division I. As we wrap this segment, I want y'all to know that Division II football is the new Division I. Division I football has turned into the pre-NFL.
Right. D-League.
You look across these, the average NIL deals are $60,000 to $80,000 a year for these players. A totally different ball game. I mean, they cruising up a different street, real slow. And if you're cruising up a street, or you want to be cruising up a street, you can always hit up Montero Motors. Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway Boulevard in Metairie, Louisiana, sponsoring this segment. I wanted to talk about how the how NIL has really affected the NCAA, and just keep that in mind. We'll talk about this in a few shows to come, but to be transparent, to be honest, Division IIs are the new Division I's. Hello, somebody. It's Inside the Trenches podcast on ESPN New Orleans. We'll be back with Hour 2.
It's really no limit to getting this green.
Are you looking for your dream home? Well, if that's the case, you need to contact Joe Picolo at Godwyn Realty, right here in New Orleans. Joe can put you in your dream home right away. Joe Picolo and the folks over at Godwyn Realty put you in the house that you need. Even if you're looking to invest in some property, they'll do an excellent job with that as well. Contact Joe today at 504-251-8341. Again, that phone number is 504-251-8341. And also contact Joel at joel.godwynrealty.com. No need to dream anymore. Godwyn Realty will put you in the dream house of your reality. Hello, somebody.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple, on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my small sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
In between them breaks, all right, I know them lights and the heat.
I'm not ready for the summer.
Last summer, boy.
Oh, okay.
Cuban, doing 95, trying to see my lady. Haters gon' hate, you know they're shady. You're the only one that I call baby.
Welcome back Inside the Trenches podcast. It's hour 2, baby. We hype, we loving it. We turned up on a Tuesday evening. Hello, somebody. It's your host, Marlon Big Favorite. You're listening to Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans. Joining me right now is my co-host, CL Nola.
Good evening.
I'm surprised to keep him this long. You probably going to catch that second half of the Pels game, so I appreciate you for sticking around, CL.
No problem, brother.
Them Saints, I went to their Instagram, and I saw that they posted their draft order, the orders they picking, and they've been doing fun things, right? Little mock draft Mondays, just giving you a look from inside the organization, guys that they're looking at for their picks as we anticipate April 25th, the draft. We're going to be live for that broadcasting it. When you look at the Saints pick, CL, at 14,
yes,
sir,
sir.
Their first round pick. What we're going to do this segment, y'all, we're going to just kind of go pick for pick and look at some of the areas of concern that may want to do with the picks. When I look at 14 now versus our previous shows, 14 seems more of a best available thing. Now, I know that ESPN just recently released earlier today that Dennis Allen spoke about Ryan Ramczak's recovery. It's coming slowly but surely. He's not quite where they want him to be at this point.
Right.
So do they still take a serious look at offensive tackle?
They do take a look at offensive tackle, but this draft is heavy in tackles and wide receivers. So you could get one with a first-round grade in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get a wide receiver in later rounds with a higher grade, of course. I think everything is possible for the New Orleans Saints after addressing some of the offseason needs in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to this draft, I think at 14 you have the option of best available or actually need.
Well, need, I think that's what we dance with right now. What is that for sure top need? Is it, because I know we've been saying J.C. Latham from Alabama, if he's there at 14, they need to get him because that big need for the Saints is OT.
Well, then I'll ask you this. Are you convinced that Penny is not a tackle?
I am convinced that he's not a tackle. I really feel like, as of right now, I mean, of course, we would have to see how well he's improved on organized team activities and then going into training camp and see, is he more stout at the tackle position?
If you're convinced that Penny's not a tackle, then the need is tackle at 14.
Yeah. And based off of what Coach Allen has
Right.
now said
About Ramchick.
Because remember last week, especially when they signed a young man from the Vikings, we were like, all right, man, maybe they can look at other positions. Because other things I mentioned here was defensive tackle, best available. I like the kid from Alabama, not Alabama, Texas, Murphy. And then you have tight end, you have quarterback, and DB. Those I would take at best available at one, depending on how the draft is flowing with linemen.
I just think it's really rich to go and grab a wide receiver at one. They've already stated several times that Browers from Georgia is a dynamic tight end. He's more than a tight end. He's in line. He's out wide. He's a true playmaker. I do think that's rich for one. I think the need is more important. At the same time, this is a heavy draft with tackles. We have had histories of getting lower round tackles and making them into Pro Bowlers. We've had history of getting lower round wide receivers and making them into Pro Bowlers. I think need is the most important thing that they should address, but at the same time, still have a ear out to move back in the draft.
When you look at pick number 45 in the second round, I think linebacker, I think DT, I think offensive guard as well, best available. And I also think wide receiver. You may have a guy like Troy Franklin from Oregon still available there. I doubt it seriously that any of the LSU wide receivers drop to the one. But looking at guys, you have a guy like Chop Robinson that you might want to look at in the second round if he's still there at 45. When you think about pick number 45, you may have a quarterback still there. You know, Joe's not going to defend it.
We thinking about you, Joe.
There you go. So 45.
45, honestly, New Orleans, 45, I'm trading back.
All right.
I'm trading back at 45 to let somebody move up because you realize at the end of the first round at 32, those next 4 or 5 picks are still, even though it's in the second round, they're still considered first round talent as well as first round picks. So I can get me giving up a second round pick and moving back, I would accumulate a third round pick that I didn't have.
Correct.
So I'm able to
third, neither fourth.
So maybe it's a fourth, maybe it's a third. But the idea is to move back to get more players for a situation that needs to be addressed. So I'll give you the guy if you're ready. At 40, let's just say we move back to 50, right? And so now we're choosing at 50. I would still be able to get one of those wide receivers, and I don't. By all means, I don't think this young man will be here, but, you know, this is the draft. Anything happens. Maybe a Keon Coleman from Florida State.
I like
at
it.
Wide receiver. Or even the wide receiver from South Carolina, Leggett. You know, so I think that's a possibility. And now we can address something of need in the third round because we've moved back and got that pick.
I think moving back and getting the picks like that, like, this is what I'm saying. 45 has a lot of value.
A lot of value.
If you still have some names or some guys you were eyeing as potential first or second round picks and they still on the board, let's say at 43, you could move back, maybe get a later second round pick and maybe a third or a fourth. Because you can still go get that guy at the third or the fourth.
And we know what's going to happen. Amazingly, ESPN, amazingly, New Orleans, we know what's going to happen. There's going to be a run on quarterbacks in the first round. So talented players that deserve to be in the top 5 will get pushed out of the top 5 because there'll be a run on quarterbacks. And maybe it might be almost 5 quarterbacks. They might try to sneak in the young man from Michigan the way Harbaugh is selling him. You know, somebody might actually bite that cheesecake and move up to get him. So that just pushes everybody down. So you're going to get first round talent guys that'll slip into the early second round just because of the positioning.
I think, too, if you look at it from this perspective, the Saints have 3 fifth-round picks that they can do some stuff with before the draft or after or during the draft, before or during the draft. So there's a lot of value in 150, 168, 170, and 175. The Saints also have 2 6th-round picks. When you look at both of these, both the pair, the trio of 5th-round picks that they have and the pair of the 6, you looking at the draft, that defensive tackle or that offensive guard that you may have had an eye on may be able to be available. It may be a utility player, a specialist, somebody to add to the running back room as well.
There's so much depth in the later rounds, and that's what I think the average fan doesn't realize, that there's more successful guys in the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds in this league than there are first rounders. First rounders tend to, but I and don't quote me, I think the percentage of first round busts are it's high.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's all a guessing game, an educated guessing game, but it's all a guessing game.
It is. And look, y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to talk more football. Shedeur Sanders, Deion commented on him as well. We'll talk about that. And we're also going to take a look at those quarterbacks of the class of 2025. You're listening to Inside the Trenches podcast on ESPN New Orleans. And remember, y'all can check us out. Y'all can come join us at our live remote 11 to 1 at Small Sliders in Marrero this Friday. And then Monday we'll be at UPT Sports Social, 3218 Magazine Street, New Orleans, Louisiana. Hey, don't go anywhere. Y'all are listening to Inside the Trenches podcast on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody.
Touch the mic and I get it hype. Touch the boot and it's blazing. Podcast on Cajun. My guests amazing. Really no fugazes. This life so daisy. Thank the Lord for my life.
Well, hello. It's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Montero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You can do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello. Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get a spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app weekdays, 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. I'm your host, Marlon, Big Favorite. We're enjoying ourselves right now. I'm with my homie CL Nola. Y'all make sure y'all follow him at CL_Nola on Instagram or Twitter. He's the man with the master plan. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, man, we are rolling here on this show. This segment is brought to you guys by Drumroller.
Crown Car Wash.
You better believe it.
What a situation for you to embark on, knowing that they're 24 hours a day, 1336 Stump Boulevard in Gretna. It's a win-win. They got the vacuum. They got everything you need. Mm-hmm. Even got the clear coat polish. You can't lose 24 hours a day, before work, after work, on your ride home from work. They're ready to serve you. Crown Car Wash.
And keep in mind, too, best rates in town in terms of car wash, open all day. Y'all make sure y'all make y'all way over there. Shedeur explained why he didn't declare to the draft 2024.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Check this in. And I'm pretty sure I know why. Well, Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes. I was about to say Mountaineers. Man, it's a long time. But anyway, Colorado Buffaloes explain why he didn't jump into this year's NFL draft. Now, before I explain his comments, I will say this. The first 3 games of the season, Shedeur looked like a top 3 quarterback in college football and could potentially be a Heisman candidate, really up there. But of course, that schedule got real.
Right.
Games started to get a little difficult.
Well, what's ironic about that, couldn't you say the same thing about Caleb?
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning of the season, he looked like what everybody said he did. And as the season progressed, things showed themselves. Like, he didn't have a defense. His offensive line wasn't that great. Then you move over to Colorado. Colorado's defense wasn't that great. Colorado's offensive line wasn't that great. Mm-hmm. So it's just ironic that they're comparable at the same time. They had the same situation going on.
Caleb, the only thing with Caleb, people saw 2.5 years of that.
Correct.
And I think that's the only thing that's keeping him at the top of the boards. We're going to definitely talk NFL draft and free agency in our last segment. But I'm thinking about where would he fall off of the board if he was in this year's draft. And it would possibly be, I think the workout would be good. Deion is a red jacket guy. They didn't have a winning record, but if he decided to come out this year, I think he would maybe be 3rd or 4th off of the board.
I already have him at 3rd. If he would have came off the board this year, they would have taken Caleb, obviously, the Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Daniels, and I believe that Shedeur would be the 3rd quarterback off the board, because if you look at it, did Drake May have a successful season?
Man,
no.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right.
Good point.
So now you're just dealing with the actual player, because we've always talked about complementary things that are surrounding you. If for the past 2 years, Caleb had been carrying USC.
That's right.
Last year, Shedeur carried Colorado. So we understand that there's a demographic around him that has a huge impact on what the actual season will be. But as far as their quarterback and experience, I think the tape speaks for itself.
Shedeur represents that new wave of quarterback. The quarterback that's elusive, has the big arm,
strong,
could run. He understands how to put his players, his teammates in a good position, and I think that's what really takes him over. I want to comment on some of the things he spoke about. He said, "I'm trying to be the first quarterback off the board." That's really what it is, and this is all stemming from his reasons for not declaring. That's smart. You have Jaden Daniels, you have Caleb Williams, you have Drake May, you have Bo Nix. It's a number of quarterbacks that may have that had a longer rap sheet in their performance than Caleb. He also went on and said, "I respect Caleb Williams. I respect how he plays. He's a great player, but overall, that's just the different tiers of quarterbacks." Now, that ties into what you mentioned, CL. You said Caleb Williams really gave us that Heisman year.
He did.
He showed potential the year before, and he just continued to stay within, because he wasn't one of the top performers. He wasn't even in the candidates race for Heisman this year.
Exactly.
But I guess it's just 2 years of starting tape.
Yeah, and once again, let's speak about complimentary. The wide receiver Addison that had the big year in Minnesota, rookie year in Minnesota,
right.
was on that team, that USC team. This year, Jerry Rice's son broke out like a bag of rocks. This year, so he was able to have that complimentary piece to show off his talents. Obviously, the offensive line didn't do what they needed to do to keep him upright, so he ran around a lot because of what was around him. But I dare the media, and I dare the fans to look and see that Shedeur still, regardless of his offensive line, regardless of his defense, Shedeur still threw 27 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
That's what I'm saying. The percentage, he wasn't making a lot of mistakes. He really, truthfully, I mean, depending on how his workouts would have went, Caleb could potentially be third coming off the board this year.
We've had that conversation in the past.
You said the Drake May thing. He didn't have a great year like Shedeur didn't. But looking at how Shedeur doesn't make a lot of mistakes, in a tough conference, he handled his business. Coming from a lesser conference, coming from the SWAC,
right.
He had to, step his game up all the way. Deion had to put some weapons around him, which he's still, like he mentioned, building through the portal.
Right.
He went along and said, too, you got to understand what player you are and what category you fall in. I understand this year wasn't my year. I didn't have enough time at this level. He didn't have enough time at this level. Those windows close much quicker in an NCAA top ball.
Yes,
you have the D lineman. Look at the D lineman he went against. Some of these guys are top prospects. So I think this year, workout-wise, he might have came off the board right after Jaden.
I mean, it's totally obvious. And even that conference, you think about the teams that Colorado played. Colorado played USC. Colorado played Oregon, right? So a Bo Nix. So he went against the top quarterbacks in this year's draft, and I dare the fans once again to look at the stats in comparison to the top quarterbacks that he played against in this year's draft.
Next year, you look at next year's draft, the one that he's gonna
be a top quarterback in?
Be a top quarterback. And now there are some names out there. There's some guys I think have some potential to have some make some noise in next year's draft. But as of right now, Shedeur Sanders is the number 1 quarterback on the board. Now, this is according to NFL DraftBuzz.com. They put together a list of players for the class of 2025. A couple names on here. You have Drew Allard from Penn State. He's someone I think could have made some noise this year if he would have came out. You also have Carlson Beck from Georgia. He's playing on the SEC level. He had a dominant first year at starting quarterback, and he's someone who they made a lot of noise with. 2 more guys I'm going to mention, CL. Quinn Ears from Texas.
Yeah.
He had some weapons. Xavier Worthy. He's going to have some weapons this year. First-round pick. Glad we don't have to pay them this year. Right. I think he might be late first, early second at the time that he ran that 40. That was big time. And here's a guy I think when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, Jalen Marrero and Shedeur are going to be the 2 top quarterbacks in next year's draft. Watch.
Well, I just have a thought process for the people. Imagine if Shedeur wins the Heisman. Because in those first 3 games, were they not speaking of Shedeur possibly for the Heisman?
The first 3 games, his name was in the conversation.
So going into next year, I think the verbiage is Heisman hopeful. He goes into next year as a Heisman hopeful.
No doubt.
So,
no doubt at all.
You can put the value to the Heisman as far as you want to, or take as much as you want out of it. But there's no doubt that Shedeur Sanders will be the top 1 or 2 quarterbacks coming out of next year's draft.
You still have KJ Jefferson, Dylan Gabriel. You have Dylan Gabriel from Ohio. I keep saying Ohio, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma University, and of quarterback to keep an eye on, look on. So we just wanted to look forward to next year's draft for quarterbacks. Don't sleep on Gary Nussmeier. He might be a dark horse sleeper for a top quarterback. Those receivers he have at LSU, the coaching staff, he could really make some noise. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. We want to thank our segment sponsor, Crown Car Wash, for all that they do for the show. We're going to keep the party going over here, baby. We got two more segments here, Inside the Trenches podcast. We're going to talk a little bit of football, but different football. Same rules, but, spring ball, baby, UFL. We're going to talk a little bit about the UFL. And, of course, we got to look at this NFL free agency tracker. It's going crazy. It's Inside the Trenches podcast on ESPN New Orleans. Watch out there now. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student-athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college, and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now, I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now. Well, hello, it's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Montero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You could do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Hustle from 5:30 morning to late noon.
It's Inside the Trenches podcast. And we back. It's your host, Marlon Big Favorite. Joined here by my man CL Nola. Oh, yeah. Y'all make sure y'all continue to check us out Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to talk a little sports, have some entertainment for y'all, guests, the whole 9 yards. And this segment is brought to you guys by Godwyn Realty. Y'all make sure y'all check them out there on Soapy Wright Street. Right on the corner. You can't miss it. I'll have all the information for this on our website, and you guys could check that out a little later as well. But y'all make sure that y'all check out Godwyn Realty if you're looking for commercial property, residential property, you want to sell property, you want to buy land. Joe, our co-host here, is the plug on that for sure. For sure. We've been talking a lot of football, right? Mm-hmm. Draft, who the Saints might get. Which players are going to get traded to this team, who we're going to draft in regards to Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, who's going to be the first guy. But there's the UFL. So there's some spring football. And let me tell y'all something. This league is exciting.
It is.
It does get started this weekend. Saturday it kicks off, actually. Michigan Panthers versus the St. Louis team. They're going to play this weekend. We got a couple of games. Memphis takes on Houston. The Memphis Showboats. These names are off the chain. You got the Michigan Panthers. Like, this is football. We got a local. My homie C.J. Johnson, Coach C.J., my coach with the Saints.
Coach Tiger.
Them Houston Roughnecks, baby, they play this Sunday against Memphis. So I'm excited about this league. So The Rock was one of the founders of the UFL. This is a merge of the XFL and the USFL.
Correct.
To form the UFL. Now, little history on the UFL. That is a league from the 2000s. I actually played on two of those teams, the Hartford Colonials and the Sacramento Mountain Lions. I made a mistake to talk about the Mountain Lions earlier, or some Mountaineers or something. I was thinking about this right up. But it's a cool league, CL. It's a pretty cool league. You watched a little bit of the UFL a few times before?
I have. I've actually watched last spring ball. I was excited because obviously they had the two leagues. And the one thing that it immediately jumped out at me is that they don't protect the quarterback.
Oh, man, no lineman.
Oh, they do not protect. I mean, there were some hits on the quarterback in this league, and it just gives you the juices flowing. It gets the juices flowing to know that, these guys are the ones that's really trying to make it. Because, of course, they're trying to make it to the NFL. I don't think there's any denying that. And they're going all out. And it's pro football, though. So I enjoy it. I must say I do enjoy it.
It's fun to watch. It's that tear between arena football, I would say, and the NFL. The reason I bring arena into this because of the time it's being played. It's spring ball. And I think the timing is perfect because for those NFL teams who may be looking for some guys to bring on their camp roster, you look at a guy like P.J. Walker, was the starting quarterback with the Carolina Panthers. He comes from this league. The USFL is a league that's been around for a while. You think of the New Orleans Breakers. You think of guys like Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly. These are players that came from these developmental leagues. The NFL really entertained this in the end of the 80s, going into the 90s, and then it kind of broke off. The roster started to slim back up. And then it was also the emergence of the AFL and other football leagues that were drawing other players there. Now, a big thing that makes a determination if a player is going to get with a certain team or not, or get with a certain league, should I say, is the pay.
Oh, yeah.
It's the pay. Listen, y'all, I don't
factor.
mind. It's definitely a huge factor. I don't mind being transparent with y'all and talk to y'all about my days with arena football and the UFL. Big difference. NFL. Big difference.
Oh, for sure.
So when I first started playing arena football, it was just coming back. And it just came back, I want to say, in 2011. And I came and played for the first time in that 2012 season. And what I remember is that first year, we might have made like $400 a week.
Wow.
$400 a week.
Wow.
Insane. Now, the next year, it was a little better. Next year, $830 a week.
Okay.
So they doubled it for us. But I wanted to say that because a frequently asked question is, man, how much these guys are going to get paid? So a weekly earning, you want to take a stab at it? What's a weekly earning you think for a UFL football player?
I would not know.
Good answer. I will compare it. I'll give you a hint. I will compare it to what the practice squad got paid in the NFL about 2 CBAs ago.
Wow. That boy said 2 CBAs.
Not one, but 2 CBAs ago. The average earning for a UFL player is $5,500 a week. Now, after taxes, they're probably looking at somewhere about $3,500 a week. Now, for a young player, that is a decent wage. Even a young player with the family, man. If the AFL would have been paying a brother this, I might have played a few more years, CL.
Right. And you understand that there's guys that are trying to make it to the league to get the big check. There's guys that actually have played in this league and want to get back to the big check. I'll give you an example. Last year, the leading rusher of the XFL was Darius Victor, which I enjoy watching because they actually ran the football. They played a version of ugly ball because he was such a rhythm running back and 20 carries. Ask yourself, football fans, I'm sorry, when is the last time you saw somebody get 25 carries in a football game? I can appreciate that. I can appreciate a 9-10 game. I can appreciate a 13-17 game, And so I believe there's something for everyone in this league, and especially for the guys that want to see the NFL in their future.
And I like the way this is being broadcast. They're coming on ESPN, ABC, ESPN2. So not only will cable providers, not only folks who have regular cable be able to watch it, but if you got just regular TV, you'll be able to catch the games.
Well, and the average fan doesn't know it, but the way players get paid or the way their salary becomes bigger is by the television contract. The television contract is paid to the owner. The owner is able to give the players more money. Originally, the league you was in did not play on ESPN.
Now, I will say this. I think we did get, when I was in the UFL, I think we did get some local broadcasting. But what was cool about that, man, it's a funny story. Well, it's an interesting story. I won't even call it funny. My first year, I was playing with the Hartford Colonial teams, which is in Hartford, Connecticut. Took us like 2 hours to drive down to New York City.
It's cold up there, man.
Freezing, brother. Not too far from Bristol.
It's cool.
And what I remember about being a part of that league, when we did play our home games, you had the regional scouts come by. Now, in that region, you got Giants, you have
Patriots.
The Patriots. They're about 2 hours. You got 2 hours north to head to the New England area, right? And then you have 2 hours south to go towards New York. I got picked up by the Patriots, right? Like, legit, I played a season with the UFL, and then I was home maybe for about a month and a half. And then the Patriots picked me up. They picked me up in the playoffs, as a matter of fact, during the in the postseason, should I say. So I do think if the guys look at it from that perspective, you're going to get opportunities. It's just the way the rosters are right now in the NFL.
I mean, if you love ball, does the money really matter? If you love ball, does the league really matter? If you love ball, does the opportunity really matter? You want your name called on Sundays. You've been working your whole life towards this. All I can see is positive out of this league. And shouts out to The Rock. I've worked with him in the past. Very interesting guy, but I think he has the best interest in mind for these guys and to help them get to where they want to be.
I love the idea of this league. I love the opportunity of this league. If you love football, you're going to play it. I mean, Trevor, play this thing for $400 a week, man. Right. I am interested. Guys like me are interested and passionate about what we do. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. We're talking UFL. They kick off their season this weekend on Saturday. Whole bunch of games for y'all to check out. Check out your local listings. We rooting for the Houston Rednecks. Why? They're one of the closer teams to us, and our boy CJ coaching the team, man. They actually Coach Tiger, baby. They actually did their draft at Nacar High School.
Nice.
That was big time. So we want to continue to support these young men as they continue their professional journey. Check the games out this weekend. It's going to be off the chain. Talking about professional journey, that NFL draft, baby, and free agency. We're going to take a look at some of the recent moves that's made around the league. We're even going to check out and see what our local Saints did here. It's Inside the Trenches podcast on ESPN New Orleans, baby. Watch out there now. Even in your highs and lows, you never really let.
Hello, somebody. It's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Do you need a quick car wash? Well, if that's a yes, you need to visit Crown Car Wash, 1336 Stump Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana, on the West Bank, baby. Crown's the best. You get A spotless wash, nice clean tires, reasonable pricing, and free vacuuming. My favorite part about Crown Car Wash, they open 24/7. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit Crown Car Wash on the West Bank, baby, and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast with Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student-athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right, when you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody. Well, hello, it's Marlon Big Favorite with Inside the Trenches podcast. Are you looking for a brand new car? Or you're tired of what you're driving around in? Or you just need wheels? Well, if that's the case, you need to visit Marrero Motors, 1512 North Causeway, Metairie, Louisiana. At Marrero Motors, our buddy Alberto will get you in a vehicle that fits you that day with no problem. They have vehicles that are pre-owned. You can do a trade-in that day and ride off in something that day. Visit MonteroMotors.com for more information and let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches podcast. Hello.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello. Yeah, baby. It's Inside the Trenches podcast. I'm your host, Marlon Big Favorite. Joining me right now is my co-host, CL Nola. And we live, baby. ESPN New Orleans, 5 days a week, 6 to 8 p.m. Y'all check us out. And remember, y'all can join us at our live remotes every Monday. We at UPT Sports Social. They have drink specials. The food is delicious. They have it's nowhere you sitting in that spot at UPT and you can't see a screen. Whether it's a full screen or a screen next to you, is available.
You tell me where you could get $1 wing special at.
Nowhere in town. Not no wings like that.
Not like that.
Not like that. Off the chain wings, seasoned, and then not little bitty wings either. Nice and crispy, little size to them, and the flavors, the Korean barbecue. I like the jerk chicken.
You know I'm on that jerk.
Did you? I think.
Pause.
Did you do the lemon pepper?
I didn't get the lemon pepper. I was too busy making sure I got the jerk wings because, I mean, last week they just, you talking $1 wing. That's the best $1 wing I ever had in my life. Dude, honestly.
Nah, it was off the chain. So y'all make sure y'all join us Monday. And then Friday, we'll do our pre-recording at 1. We'll be there from 11 to 1 at Small Sliders. Y'all could come out there, get on there with us, talk to us about what you think about what the Saints doing, get you some lunch while you're there. Right. I'm going to say this. I know y'all can hear me across the city. The first 5 people that get there, Small Sliders on me. Now, I don't like to go in my wallet like that, but if you're going to come check us out. Tight pockets over here, man. Hey, we got to do it, bro. We got to survive the economy. So, you know who don't have issues surviving the economy? Players in the NFL, especially free agents, high priority free agents. Just to kind of recap some of the top deals that's been going on since free agency started. The Kirk Cousins deal to Atlanta, it's a 4-year, $180 million deal. Chris Jones, $160 million, 5 years. Josh Allen has a franchise tag on him that's worth $24 million this year, and he's from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Snead is now with the Tennessee Titans, a big blockbuster deal that happened this weekend. CL, what you think about Snead in Tennessee?
Well, I think it was a clever move by the Chiefs. They knew that after giving Chris Jones the biggest defensive tackle deal in the history of the NFL, they knew they weren't going to be able to keep Snead. So what they did was they gave him the franchise tag, and then they traded him. So they were at least able to get something out the deal. This guy might be the most underrated. I don't think he's the most underrated anymore after inking a $76 million deal 4 years. But originally, I felt like he was the most underrated corner in this league, and now he's not because they have decided to compensate him, the Tennessee Titans, that is.
What do you think when you look at him in Tennessee being opposite of New Orleans' very own Christian Fulton?
Oh, yeah.
Do you see them being like a dominant force in the AFC side? Because, Houston, C.J. Stroud and the boys over there looking good. Jacksonville are making some moves. We didn't see a full season of Anthony Richardson. He's going to be healthy this year. And
right.
When you look at Tennessee with those two lockdown corners, do you still see them at the top tier of the AFC South?
I might not see them at the top tier of the AFC South as in team, but the defense, that D tackle, of course, his name is running from me right now. That D tackle for the Titans, he's serious. He just inked the deal last year, and so they're getting pressure with that front four, which obviously holds well for DBs in the back end to give them more time to cover.
It does. You want to have a dominant line, and that was Coach. Boy, my mind slips in this too. Vabro, that's his specialty, being a defensive guy. Of course, they moved away from him. Coach Brian Callahan is now the head coach there. And when you look at their defensive line, you do have Joseph Day. You do have you might have been talking about Jeffrey Simmons.
Monster.
Jeffrey Simmons is a straight monster up front. So they do have that potential needed. When I like to talk about the deals that aren't talked about a lot. A good buddy of mine, guy we trained here at Concord Sports Pros, New Orleans native, went to Helen Cox, played at Memphis, bounced around the league now for a while quietly, and continues to sign. Arthur Millette.
Yeah.
He just inked a 1-year deal, $1.7 million with Baltimore.
Yeah, he was originally with the Saints. He got caught up in the numbers game in the DB room. Obviously, we had much depth at DB, and he was able to, and a couple of Saints players have been able to move on and get contracts in Baltimore, like a Arthur Millette, like a Marcus Williams, like a Mark Ingram, So shouts out to Millette. We've definitely kept an eye on you, and we happy that you're balling, brother.
A few more Tigers. You had Daniil Hunter. He signed a big-time blockbuster deal. We know about Tyron signing with the Saints, restructuring his contract, should I say, moving forward to him. Let's also take a look at not only some Tigers, but some other big names in the NFL that's still on the market. I'll start with a few of my Tigers first. Odell Beckham Jr. He's still a clutch receiver, if you ask me.
I think there's a contract that the Dolphins have gave him a contract. I don't believe he signed it just yet, but they're trying to get him in Miami to be that third guy behind Weather and Cheetah.
I wouldn't be surprised in the next few days if that does happen.
If he signs it.
If he signs that contract with them.
Offer sheet.
That offer, and I know what Odell is doing. Odell is just paying attention to the market.
Yes,
he doesn't have to rush and sign anywhere. He does still have a value. He's like $11 million value out there with him. So that's not a bad idea for Odell Beckham. Andres Pete, he's still a free agent. Michael Gallup, he's still available. Tyler Boyd, a clutch receiver, he's available. Michael Thomas. We talk about the Saints Michael Thomas. He's available. What we're talking about now, I'm just on sportstrack.com looking at some of the NFL free agents that's still available. Any of these names that I'm mentioning to you, you think might pique the attention of the Saints? I know they've been scheduling workouts with some guys, been getting some D tackles in. Last week, the big blockbuster signing Chase Young to the team, of course, right after we find out that he had to have a neck procedure done. So in regards to the Saints, I still look at possible positions of needs that they may look towards. DJ Chark, another LSU guy, he's available as a free agent. The market value on DJ Chark right now is estimated at $10 million, a starting wide receiver in NFL. I do understand that going rate. Look, my boy Jerry Hughes, man. Jerry came into the league the year after me. This is 13 years for Jerry Hughes. He's a clutch defensive end from Dallas, Texas. Played at TCU. Has been a veteran bouncing around the league for years. We drafted him back with our 31st pick in 2010 to the Indianapolis Colts. So I see that he's still making noise. I have a guy for you, CL.
Come on.
Jamal. You gonna finish it for me?
No.
Jamal Adams, safety. I was just saying that. I should have said I have an LSU guy for you.
Right.
I
knew who you were talking about. And much respect to Jamal Adams. Obviously, first round pick from the Jets years ago. Ended up getting traded in a big deal, going to Seattle. Dealt with some injuries in the first part of the season, and it's been kind of tough on him. Shots out to him. Obviously, he's a Tiger. But if you're going to address that safety position, I would have to speak on the name of Justin Simmons.
Yeah, because when you look at the Saints, and we mentioned this earlier, safety is still an area of need. Tyron doesn't have a solid safety backing him. Now, we did make some signings last year. We kept two of our guys.
Yeah.
Jonathan Abram, one guy I think on defense is going to continue to make noise, and then Ogu.
Right.
We ended up
Number 0.
Number 0.
But I would have to let the people know that the active safeties in this league right now, the leading interception getter is Justin Simmons.
Yeah. He was drafted to Arizona originally. I thought we were gonna. I know we might have worked him out, but I thought we were eyeing him in the draft, and Arizona snagged him up in the first round. Guy out of the SEC, balls hard. And I think
we definitely believe in Jordan Howland, the rookie from last year from Minnesota that came in spare time when Tyron wasn't healthy. He played at strong when Marcus May wasn't healthy. He played at free. So we definitely believe in the young man Jordan Howard. We just know that Tyron is getting long in the tooth, and we should be looking forward to the future.
Last guy I'm gonna mention here, Hunter Renfrow. He's still undrafted free agent. I mean, he's still an available free agent.
Yes.
Do you think the Saints take a serious look at him?
I don't. I think the free agent wide receivers that we were going to bring in, we've brought in. If there's any other wide receivers that we're going to add on to the team, I believe it comes from the draft.
2 hours fly by pretty fast, baby. I want to thank CL for joining me on the show for this segment. We usually catch him on Mondays and Fridays, but he came through and chilled with us today, so we appreciate him for coming through. My man Mario, excuse me, Mario. I stuttered up a little bit real quick. My man Mario, y'all check him out. Haraz, he's gonna be joining us to talk about Pel so often.
Nice.
And look, man, I want to thank all of our sponsors for what they do for the show. To our production team, I want to thank my man Mike for all he do, Terry for all he do. Y'all will be back here same time, same place tomorrow on ESPN New Orleans. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. Y'all enjoy the week. Hello.